Hello, Kubrick Lover 1972 here, also known as Brian. I said I was going to start the stream at 8:30. Well, I didn't say it technically. I programmed it to say 8:30, but here I am at 8:45. Um, a friend that I know on YouTube, I don't know if he's available right now, but I'm going to do what I was going to show the previous stream. But I think I'm going to start off. I was going to show these at the very end of my collection of favorites and honorable mentions. I'm going to show my concert films. Well, technically, they're not films. All of them they're shot on video, so technically, it's not a film per se. Anyways, I picked this up. I think I picked this up at the library. Yeah, I did. I think it was $1 here. It's a CD and a DVD. I believe so. DVD. I think the other one is it's Green Day, Bullet in a Bible. I think on the behind these discs, yeah, you got the bass player there, the drummer there, and I think that's a guitar, the lead singer guitarist right there. I remember listening to their album. Oh, hey, Wolf. I remember listening to their album, American Idiot. I really liked that. That's when I started getting into their music. They're a pretty good band. I really haven't listened to the earlier stuff like Dookie, but they had I think it's called 21st Century Breakdown. That was their next album. That wasn't a bad album either. This is one of my favorite bands. They were only around for a brief time. Maybe it was like 5 years. I don't know. But this is Nirvana live at Reading in the UK. It was a really good concert. So, it's just concert footage. Some good songs on here like Smells Like Teen Spirit, On a Plane, School, Aneurysm, Breed, Negative Creep, All Apologies, The Money Will Roll Right In, so some good songs there. I have another Nirvana. This is like a compilation from different places, other places in Europe. Oh yeah, you remember those guys? Yeah. And I think there's some American stuff here, some interviews. It's Live Tonight, Sold Out, Nirvana. So it's got some of the same songs I just mentioned. About a Girl's another one here. Maybe that was on the other one. Been a Sun, Lithium, Drain You, Come As You Are. Yeah, so there's the back. Yeah. This one, here's another one of my favorite bands. This won't play on my, it wouldn't, I think when I only had a DVD player, it wouldn't play on there. And I don't think it plays on my Blu-ray player, but it will play on my computer's DVD, my DVD slash player burner that I use for my computer. Will play on that, but for some reason it won't play in the player. I don't think this plays on my Blu-ray player. It's Queen, Killers, 1979. I picked this up at a horror convention. They were selling a bunch of rock stuff at one booth, and I picked this up there. So this is this film I saw in the theater. It's Roger Waters' The Wall. I think it was done in France. Pretty good. Yeah, they were really good. The Queen. Yeah, so this is, Roger Waters by himself, not with Pink Floyd. G.E. Smith from Saturday Night Live. He's I think he does some of the Gilmore parts of the album, in concert. So, and there's some other stuff along, some adjoining footage that comes with this, like so, I don't know, him traveling through Europe, and it's interspersed in the concert footage, So this is a band I really love a lot, and I love this DVD box set. I think it's called How the Wessels Won. There's no title for it. It's fantastic. It's Led Zeppelin. I think this was their second thing that they released on video. It's got Royal Albert Hall. It's got Madison Square Garden. It's got Earl's Court, Nebworth. It's got a few music videos on here, like if I can find them. Where did he? It's what's that song by Traveling Riverside Blues by Robert Johnson. They do a version of that. Robert Johnson's an old black blues musician from like the 30s. And then they did what's the other song? Over the Hills and Far Away. They do one of those, a music video. But the rest of it's just concert stuff. There's a few interviews in here. I highly recommend this. It's just, just loads of. This is like, maybe it's like 5 hours worth of footage. Like the first disc, I think it's like 2 hours, and the second disc maybe is like 2.5 hours or something like that. But it's well worth the price. This one I have seen it on videotape, but I've never watched my DVD of it. It's Madison Square Garden that they were at. Its Song Remains the Same. They released this in 76, I believe. The concert itself was in 73. They have, it has some never before seen performances on here, like Celebration Day and Over the Hills and Far Away. But, it has Misty Mountain Hop and the Ocean, but I think that might be what you see on the other disc, because that's on the other. That's on the other one I just showed previous. Maybe they just carried it over to the newer edition of this one. So then another band I really like a lot is Guns N' Roses. This is two of them. Yeah, they were blues oriented originally. Yeah, Guns N' Roses. This is part one of Use Your Illusion tour. I think it's 92. This is in Japan, in Tokyo. So you get the classic songs like "Sweet Child of Mine," "November Rain," "Paradise City," "Welcome to the Jungle." Just all those songs. "Patience." And that's like an hour and a half, and then this is the next one that comes with it, which is like another hour and a half. Really good concert. And then this one, I didn't really listen to them. I mean, I when I used to be a kid, I would buy vinyl singles, and back in those days they had tapes, because this was like the mid to late 80s. Well, not late. I'm sorry. The early to mid 80s, they had 45 vinyl records. So I had one of their songs on a vinyl record, and I think I had one of their albums at one point. I guess I got rid of it. I don't know why I did that, but this is a pretty good concert. I was kind of surprised. I think it's really enjoyable, and it's Def Leppard, Hysteria. Live at the Joint in Las Vegas, and I only picked this up for like $2 or $3 at the library. I just saw it. It's a Blu-ray. It's beautifully done. You know, really nice. You know, concert. You know, how the two guitarists play off each other. You know, just yeah, just very enjoyable. So this is a good concert. So that's my concerts. Now, before I get into like Kubrick, Ridley Scott, and the other ones, I was online last night with a few other YouTubers, and I pulled this out. I thought I'd show this. This is my Toy Story box set. This is, I think it's my first Pixar movie that I bought, but it's loaded with special features. I don't even know if they make this anymore, but yeah, it's got. I don't like Toy Story 3. I like the starting of Toy Story 3, but the rest of it I really don't like. And I think, I don't know if I like one or two more. They're both very good, Toy Stories. Of course, my favorite Pixar, as I said before, is Toy Story. I mean, not Toy Story. Up and the Incredibles. Before that was Finding Nemo. But, you know, they give you a list of all the stuff that they break down. So it's really in detail. Okay, so I was waiting to see if a person that I know would come on, but I'll just continue. Let's see. Okay, so now this is a David Fincher movie. It's a special edition. It's Panic Room. This is 3 discs. It's got. Oh, you do have a weak cry. Oh yeah, slip covers. Yeah. Yeah. So this has some Easter eggs on it. If you know what Easter eggs are, they're special features that are on a disc, but they're not like you have to move the remote around to find them. There's some Easter eggs on Lord of the Rings extended editions too. You know what? I didn't include those. I'm going to include those maybe in a second, or maybe in the next stream. I should have included Lord of the Rings. It's just not one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just fun, you know, to watch. It's entertaining. But you know, this is post-production, shooting, and pre-production, shooting, and post-production, and it's pretty in detail. Very nice setup here too. You know, so. So. Oh, and by the way, when I showed my Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and I couldn't remember who autographed it. Now I remember. It's Charlie Kaufman who autographed it, the screenwriter, and he autographed my Being John Malkovich. I don't know if I took my Being John Malkovich out of one of the boxes, but he autographed that too as well. So yeah, Jodie Foster is a really good actress. I can't remember if I showed this or not. I think I did. It's just Memento. This is loaded with. You have to go through a bunch of quizzes, not film quizzes, but just these scholarly quizzes or whatever, in order to get to the Easter eggs. I don't even know if we call it an Easter egg, because everything is I had to. Let's see. Uh, yeah. So like down here, I've got a cheat sheet so I can figure out how to get to the special features. Okay, so let's see. This is Black Swan. I think it's, I don't know. Oh, there's a little behind the scenes stuff, but not much. This is probably my favorite Darren Aronofsky film. I think, like it says, I think I only got it for $5. I don't know if I've watched this. I don't think I have. This one, there's not much in special features, but this is one of the few films that I saw in the theater twice. The Witch was another. Return of the Jedi I saw twice in the theater because when I was a kid, our mother didn't go to see it. Oh, they do flag up Easter eggs? DVD Profiler, huh? I'll have to take a look at that. But anyways, this film I saw twice in the theater because I couldn't wait for it to come out on DVD, and that's Kill Bill Volume 1. I do have Volume 2 as well, and I have watched that, but I like this one a little bit better. I like the House of Blue Leaves ending. I love that sword fight at the end there. So but there's not much in the special features area, So, but it's a pretty good movie. And I'm not a complete Quentin Tarantino fan. I'm probably think he's kind of overrated in ways. I really don't like Pulp Fiction that much. Not really at all, I guess, but I like it a little bit more knowing that it's out of sequence. I didn't know what the film was being told out of order, but I still don't like it. I think he's too talky, and I really, maybe I hate Reservoir Dogs. I'm not a fan of. I don't like Jackie Brown. I've yet to see Death Proof. So I liked Inglourious Bastards. That was pretty good. Hateful Eight, I didn't think it was that fantastic. I guess I'm not a huge Tarantino fan, really. Yeah, you're not into him. Yeah, I really hated Jackie Brown too. Yeah. This is the Criterion. It's Brian De Palma's Dressed to Kill. Really good movie with what's her name? Angie Dickinson, Michael Caine, Nancy Allen. What's his name is in it from NYPD Blue? Dennis Franz. He appears as what he's normally cast at a lot, I guess. A police officer, and it's I don't know. It's there's murder in it. There's a cross-dressing person. I don't know. It's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. It's really good De Palma film. De Palma makes a lot of good movies, but this is one of them. I just recently picked up Sisters from the Criterion Barnes and Noble sale, so yeah, I really like this. I don't know if I'm really articulating well about Dressed to Kill. It's just this middle-aged woman, and I think she's being followed around by somebody, and well, I don't know if I should give any of it away. Something happens to her. There's something fishy about Michael Caine as a psychiatrist that she goes to. Let's put it that way. This is The Big Lebowski. I don't know. It's got an introduction by Mortimer Young. I think I have. I think I got rid of it. I got the Criterion of Blood Simple, and the previous edition I had of Blood Simple, they have a guy come on, like this scholarly guy at the start, with like a pipe in his mouth, and I think that's just the same guy in here. But they have Lebowski fests because of this film. I guess I like this movie. Stylistically, it's very beautiful to watch. I used to go to the Alamo Draft House in Yonkers, New York. They serve you food while you watch the movie. They throw people out if they're being too loud. They won't allow people in the theater like after 10, 15 minutes. But anyways, they had and we only went to see like films, not new films there, but like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Amelie, RoboCop, Scanners, heavy metal. I didn't like heavy metal that much. What were the other ones that we saw there? I can't remember, but this was one of them. And they give you props, like how they do it Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like throwing rice when there was a wedding in it. They gave you some underwear. They gave you balloon crowbars. So they gave you some props, and they gave you. There were times when there was dialogue on the screen, like printable not printable subtitles on the screen, and you were supposed to speak along with the subtitles. So, but it's a big thing. This Lebowski worship or whatever. Let's see. Where should we go now? Okay, so I think what we'll do. We'll go with these. This is by Buñuel. I showed, I think, so far 2 Buñuel films. I have a bunch of Buñuel's movies. But anyways, I think this was the very first one I saw. This is a discrete term of the bourgeoisie. It's about a bunch of wealthy people that go to sit down and eat a meal, and they get interrupted by for various reasons. It's a comedy. It's like surrealist, and it's I guess you have to like this kind of thing. Maybe it's not for everyone. I don't know, but I like it. It's a good movie. I don't know. Yeah. So anyways, I don't. Let's see. I guess there's a 58-minute documentary on the life and work of Buñuel. So I don't know. It's just about a bunch of wealthy people sitting down to eat some dinner, and each time they sit down, they get interrupted, and that's the basic gist of it. But there's another film that Buñuel made as well, called The Exterminating Angel. This is also about a bunch of wealthy people, aristocrats or whatever. They go to the opera, but when they come home, they have dinner, and then they go to the parlor in the mansion. I guess it's the parlor or whatever, and they're sitting around. I think one of the people plays a piano, and then they can't leave the mansion, even though there's no walls blocking them or anything. And there's some surrealist touches in the film, like there's these herd of sheep that goes through the living room and a bear. So and they pull down the wallpaper, and they get to the pipes inside the wall. So it's just surrealist. It's just another surrealist movie. I don't know if people can ask, what is this movie about? I don't know if it's really about anything. It's just it's a surrealist thing. That's basic. People ask in artistic movies, like, what is this supposed to represent? What is that supposed to represent? And maybe in some films, there's no explanations. This is more like a dream. Buñuel was very good at dream-like films because, like, if you look at Christopher Nolan's what's that movie he made? Inception. Inception. Um, he's his like DiCaprio and they're explaining how a dream works and how to maneuver inside a dream and how to know you're in a dream and but it seems too logical. Even though I like Inception, it just dreams are not logical. They don't make any sense. They're kind of ridiculous, and Buñuel gets that, So, and I have other Buñuel films too I like, but those are two particular ones that I like a lot. And then of course I showed my two favorite Buñuels, Belle de Jour and Viridiana. This film is I'm not a fan of. Well, am I a fan? No, I'm not really a fan. I guess I don't know. M. Night Shyamalan. I saw The Sixth Sense. I wasn't wild about it, but this film, I guess a lot of his films, most of them have been haven't been touted very well. But I like this one, and that's The Village. I like the what you learn at the end of the film. You think it's a certain thing at the start. You're you think it's a certain concept. You think you know what the film is, what the story is. You think the environment of the setting, but you're taken for a loop at the end. And I really like that about this movie. I don't think I've actually watched this DVD that I've bought. I think there's some special features here, but yeah, this is that's the thing, because some directors you might not like their films, but they might have a diamond in the rough or whatever, where they have a few films where maybe this is a good movie, and this is the case with this one. So The Village. So this was I used to attend Jonathan Demme's Rarely Seen Cinema at the Jacob Burns Film Center. He used to show like movies that were not shown, like people they were maybe forgotten, or didn't get a wide release, and they needed to be seen. But anyways, that's not. I'm not talking about a film he's going to show, because I showed Ducky Sucker earlier in another stream. But anyways, so at one particular occasion, I asked him to sign my Silence of the Lambs DVD, so he did. So that's his autograph. And I used to watch Silence of the Lambs a lot back when I owned video cassettes, and I didn't own a lot of video cassettes at the time, but I used to watch Silence of the Lambs a lot. But anyways, he signed that. So next up, maybe I think there's a special edition you can buy of this, but I'm fine with this. I think there's even a longer edition of this, but I like this. Okay, it's Watchmen. There's a person I went to high school with, a few classes up from me, and he I don't know what his status is now, but he worked on this film. He's one of the makeup crew, so he's worked on some films with makeup, special effects makeup, and this was one of them. Next up, we have a anime movie. I picked this up for a few bucks at the library. I wanted a copy of this anyways, and it's Spirited Away. So there's some special features, storyboard to screen comparison, behind the microphone, the art of Spirited Away, an introduction by Jen Lasseter of Pixar, a television special about the making of it. So really enjoyable, really nice anime movie, Spirited Away. Yeah. I like My Neighbor Totoro a lot too. I don't have that, but I like that as well. Here's a Criterion. This is by Alfonso Cuarón. It's E tu Mama También. I asked my friend, what does that mean? Um, and I think it means something like "and your mother too," or it's like uh, a like an insult or something like that. But it's about these two young guys who go with this single woman, and they go on a trip through. I think it's just Mexico. I don't. She's a Spanish woman. I think it's just Mexico, and they go on a vacation. Um, and the cinematographer on this is Emmanuel Lubezki, and there's this philosopher named Slavoj Zizek, and he talks about the film's social and political aspects. He's pretty interesting if you check out Slavoj uh, Zizek, Slavoj. That's his first name, Zizek. Just look him up on YouTube. He talks about all sorts of movies, like the John Carpenter one, They Live. He talks about a whole bunch of movies. I think it's what's that movie? Children of Men. He talks about that. He's a pretty interesting guy. So this is not the Blu-ray version, I don't think. Well, no, I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. It's a dual format edition that Criterion did. So they had both Blu-rays and DVDs for a limited time. So yes, it is Blu-ray and a DVD. So yes, there is a Blu-ray. This I didn't open out of the wrapping, but I have watched it. I think it's one of David Cronenberg's best films. It's History of Violence. There's a commentary. There's a documentary. It's about this guy played by Viggo Mortensen. He has a family. People think he's just a normal family guy, but he has a history of being in this, being part of this. He has a criminal past, I guess, and not just him, but his son and his wife. Something happens. You don't think their character changes in the movie. Let's just put it that way. I highly recommend this movie. Again, what I say about like recommending these movies, if you don't have a lot of money, take it out of the library, or if you don't have a library that has this stuff or whatever, I'm just showing this stuff. I'm not telling you. I'm not saying you're obligated to buy this. It's just I'm just showing you this stuff. So this is another Coen Brothers movie. It's The Man Who Wasn't There. Pretty good Coen Brothers. Yeah, but not Aragon. It's a complete. It's a different. Different character. So this is The Man Who Wasn't There with Billy Bob Thornton, Scarlett Johansson, James Gandolfini, and Frances McDormand. And it kind of has a sad ending, but I don't know if that's a spoiler. But yeah, so he's a hair cutter, and his wife is having an affair with the Gandolfini character. So his wife is played by Frances McDormand. Good movie. Another movie. Another YouTuber I know. This is his favorite movie. I was on some recent streams, and I was quoting a lot from this movie. I find this movie to be a guilty pleasure. It is entertaining. It's very quotable. It's Al Pacino and Scarface, directed by Brian De Palma. So Brian De Palma is a really good director, I think. So yeah. They're also talking about Carlito's Way. I have that on video cassette. I wouldn't mind having that on DVD or Blu-ray, but anyways, this is Scarface. I do also have the original Scarface with Paul Muni, but I've never watched it. I think Howard Hawks directed the first Scarface, but I can't remember. Let's see. Okay, so Um, so this is well, let me hold that back a second. Well, you know what? I thought I showed the witch, but I didn't show the witch. I saw that. So you prefer it to the Hawks? Yeah, I've got to see the Howard Hawks version. So I have no idea as to what to think about the original one. But anyways, I would say the thing about the two Scarface movies is Wolf. I think they're vastly different from each other. I think the only. I mean, they're both gangster films, and it's the mafia. But you know, the one with Pacino's, Cuba and all that stuff. So I don't know if they're extremely similar. This is The Witch, directed by Eggers, Robert Eggers, I think. It's very atmospheric. There's not a lot of gore in this movie. I like this movie a lot. Actually, I saw this at the Jacob Burns Film Center Halloween marathon, and they go from like 10. I've gone every years, and they've had it for 5 years. And a few years ago, they showed this, and I fell asleep because they started like 9 p.m. or whatever, and they carried it on until the early morning, like 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. And they showed this in the middle of the night. So I fell asleep during it. So I wanted to see it again in the theater. So I went to the multiplex. I went to see it again, and I fell asleep yet again. But I was going to buy it anyways. I think I would buy it anyways. It's a really good movie. There's a commentary, and there's an interview. I think it's in Salem, Massachusetts. I watched that interview. It's a press interview. But this Puritan family, they get thrown out of this Puritan village, and they live in this what would you call it? Clearing, like a forest clearing, and they just eke by, and there's some kind of malevolent force in the forest near them. So that's what The Witch is about, I guess you could say. Okay, so here's a documentary. I said my favorite documentary was Hearts of Darkness, which was about the making of Apocalypse Now. I have other favorite documentaries. Well, I have a favorite docudrama. I can't remember if I showed it or if I haven't showed it yet, which is called Badass, which is made by Mario Van Peebles. It's a retelling of the making of Sweet Sweetback Badass song by Melvin Van Peebles, who I think it was the first blaxploitation film. It's a really good movie. Badass is a really good film about people making movies. Here's another really good film about people making movies. It's Jodorowsky's Dune. They show a book in this movie that Jodorowsky did, and they only had 2 copies of this book in existence, and it's this extremely storyboarded. It's this thick book, and it has extremely storyboarded shots of how they were going to shoot the movie. He was contacting all these people. He was going to have Orson Welles in it. He was going to have Salvador Dali in it. He was going to have Pink Floyd do the music, and this other group called Magma, which I think is a French band. But a really good movie. And I think some of these storyboarded shots influenced other films, other shots in other films. I highly recommend this. This film, some people on YouTube are saying it's very rewatchable. I highly agree with that. It's got a commentary. I don't think I've listened to commentary. Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. What's his name? I think is in it too. What's his name? Bill Paxton, I think. I think it's Bill Paxton. I don't know if he's mentioned here. I think Bill Paxton passed away. I'm pretty sure he passed away recently. But he notices Bill Paxton recording footage of an accident before the ambulance gets there, and so he starts taking footage too and sells it to like tabloid television. And he's basically a guy that's kind of pathological, doesn't have any guilt, doesn't have any remorse. So all he cares about is like making money, and he just basically has no. He's just cold. He just has no empathy, So this film, I saw it the Jacob Burns film, not Jacob Burns. I'm sorry, Alamo Drafthouse. The director of this movie, I think he was the assistant director on Goldfinger. He signed my. He had posters there that he signed, and I thought the film was very entertaining, so I bought it. It's Shockwaves. It has Peter Cushing in it. It's got what's this guy? Brooke Adams from what's that movie? Days of Heaven by Terrence Malick. John Carradine. I don't really know John Carradine, but I guess he's a pretty big actor. The directors co-wrote it, and his name is Ken Wiederhorn. I think it was one of the first films with electronic score. It's I don't remember who on the crew said, but it's one of only 3 Nazi zombie films. It's entertaining. It's a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoy it. This is an Oshima film. I think Oshima's maybe his best film is in the realm of the senses, which won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. It's like a hardcore erotic film. It was showing a married man having an affair with a I don't know if she's a prostitute. It's a true story. World War II was ramping up. Japan was occupying a lot of countries. She asphyxiated him at the end of the film. Well, I'm giving it away, but it's a true story. And basically, they were doing the right thing, and everybody else in Japan was doing the wrong thing. Well, not I shouldn't say everybody else. Like the military was doing the wrong thing. The Japanese people, I don't think all of them. I don't think all of them wanted to be involved with taking over other countries. But anyways, he did this another film called Empire of Passion, which is I think treads along similar lines. Pretty enjoyable movie. Then there's this box set from Criterion, a Eclipse box set, Oshima's Outlaw 60s. Got some good films on here. Pleasures of the Flesh, Violence at Noon, Sing a Song of Sex, Japanese Summer, Double Suicide, Three Resurrected Drunkards. The Three Resurrected Drunkards is a comment on Koreans. Oshima didn't like xenophobia, and he felt like Japan was kind of racist, I guess, at a certain time period. And these, I guess the Three Resurrected Drunkards, I think they're pop band people that were in it. And Pleasures of the Flesh, I think maybe he's a school teacher or something, and some criminal gives him some money. He wants him to stash the money until he serves his term, and instead of stashing the money and keeping his promise, he does the opposite. Let's put it that way, I guess. I think I recall enjoying all these films a lot. So next film is by Ozu. It's my favorite of Ozu is probably Tokyo Story, but this is pretty good too. Late Spring. It's got Setsuko Hara, who died. How long did she die ago? Maybe 4 years ago, 5. I don't know. But and Chishu Ryu is in it. And Chishu Ryu, Ozu had to do like hundreds of takes. Well, I don't know, hundreds, maybe a hundred takes in order to get the performance out of him because he wasn't a natural actor. But he plays the father, and she plays his adult daughter, and he wants her to get on with her life and not tend to him because he's an elderly father. But that's Late Spring. Oh, you like Late Spring? Uh, so now I guess I'm gonna have to get into the films I was holding off on because I didn't know if a certain YouTuber was on here or not. So I'll just go on with them. This is by Ridley Scott. I don't know if some people consider this a great movie. It's a guilty pleasure to me. I really enjoy it. It's Hannibal. It's got some great special features on this. Makeup, deleted scenes, a great commentary by Ridley Scott. It's got some. I think it's got some multi-angle stuff where you can watch particular the fish market scene in different angles, just to understand the editing process. Yeah, Anatomy of a Shootout. That's what it is. And just I like it visually. It's very beautiful. The way they use classical music in it, because I haven't really listened to classical music that much recently, but this is a good film that uses classical music well, and visually, it's a very beautiful film to watch. The scene, the beginning half, in Florence, Italy, beautifully lit and just beautiful music, and um, I like this film. I know, I guess I'm in the minority when it comes to this film, but I think this is not a bad movie. So. Next up, another Ridley Scott. I think it goes on too long, but I guess I enjoy it to a sense. Like I said before, I think it was my previous stream. I like ancient Greek and ancient Roman movies. So this is Gladiator. I think it has there's a fair amount of special features. If you get the extended edition, I think you even get more special features. Yeah, so again, commentaries. I think more than one commentary here. Hans Zimmer did the music. Pretty good movie. This film is by Scorsese. It's the thing I did with this one is when I bought it, I thought there was wrapping. I took the wrapping off, and I thought there's extra wrapping, and I accidentally took the plastic wrap that holds the paper down. So see what I did? See, by accident I did that. But anyways, I don't really care as long as I have the movie. It's Casino. Probably Goodfellas is a little bit better than this movie, but this movie is still good. It's pretty entertaining. I haven't watched the behind the scenes stuff. I've watched this a few times, but I had this on video cassette before. So, and I think Joe Bob Briggs is in this. I think he is. He plays the nephew of one of of a guy in Las Vegas, and I think he works with. He's the guy I think he's when the jackpot machines, like three of them, give money to the customers. Robert De Niro decides to fire him. I think that's Joe Bob Briggs, but I'm not sure. I think that's him. This is let's see, where do we go next? Okay, so again, going back to Ridley Scott, this is I do have the theatrical version of this, but this is the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven. This is loaded with special features. I think a friend of mine was saying, like, this is a better way of watching it. The way it's laid out more, it makes more sense. But a lot of great stuff about editing and how they mix sound on a particular scene, and the special effects, the CGI, and the production design. It's got a great thing with Arthur. I think Arthur Max is the production designer on this, and how they chose a few locations to shoot the film in, like one in Spain, and I can't remember the other location, but yeah, this is worth buying. Let's see, another Ridley Scott. This is a 3-disc edition. It's Black Hawk Down. again here, more commentaries. I don't know if commentaries um, um, are as touted or as done as much as they were back in the early 2000s. I think commentaries. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but um, I think there's less and less. Well, are there less commentaries? I do notice that like on the Criterions these days, they have these visual essays where they'll have a scholar or a filmmaker talk about the movie. They'll show shots of the movie, but it won't actually be a commentary. Technically, it's sort of a commentary. So, but they have this particular movie, Black Hawk Down. They have they again with the editing, they show you the different angles, the helicopters landing in Somalia, production design, um, Ridley Grahams, which are like sort of like storyboards, and they've got some other stuff on here, like Frontline about I think it's Frontline, uh, History Channel. Oh yeah, Frontline about Mogadishu. So some historical stuff in here too. It's sort of like with Last Emperor Criterion. You have some not just behind the scenes stuff, but some information about the actual the actual real situation that's not concerning filmmaking. So this is pretty good. And Hans Zimmer did the music for that too. So this one I enjoy. I don't think everybody's on board with this, liking this. I like the fact it's almost nonstop. It's Mad Max Fury Road. I just think it's a lot of fun. Maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense. A guy with a guitar playing on the back, fire flames coming out of a big truck or whatever. Maybe it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. I don't know if this has much special features, but it's just fun. Let's see what's next. Okay, so let's go to Spielberg here. This is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is the director's cut. You can buy this in a variety of different ways. There were, well, first off, Columbia, when it first came out, which was 1977, they released a studio cut, and Spielberg wanted to do some additional shots. So when it was a big success, they re-released it in the theaters. This is back in the days before, yeah. So anyways, Close Encounters. It came out in 1977, so Columbia allowed him to re-release it again in a director's cut. I think it was 1981 when it came out again. This is in the days before before VCRs were prevalent. Back in those days, like probably you would say Beta and Laserdisc were the big thing. But anyway, so he added additional shots. This is his director's cut. Then there's another cut. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the director's cut. Technically, it's not the director's cut because in that particular version in 1981, they show you the inside of the mothership. This one, the director's cut, I think they called that one they called the special edition. This is the director's cut. This is all the shots Spielberg wanted to add, but not the shots that he took out the shots that Columbia wanted him to add with his 1981 cut. So this is the director's cut. It's got some special features. It's got making of, a featurette about, at the time that came out, about the film, deleted scenes. So this is a nice, fun movie. So here's some David Fincher. This is Seven. David Fincher is one of my favorite directors. Of course, my favorite David Fincher film is Fight Club. I love the packaging for Fight Club. This is a nice, I know people have Blu-rays. They probably have a Blu-ray equivalent of this. I think it has 4 commentaries on here. I have a hard time reading this. I have the BFI book on Seven. I can't remember if I read it or not, but the author of the BFI book, I think he's on each commentary, or is it David Fincher on each commentary? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, and there's some behind the scenes stuff here. It's kind of hard to read because it's black backing here, and there's white print, and it's kind of hard to read what it says. Um, I think there's something about the opening here, and some gallery stuff, and there's a DVD-ROM stuff, but I don't have DVD-ROMs. So this is like another Fincher. It's Criterion. It's The Game. Maybe one of I don't know. Maybe it's one of Fincher's lesser known films. It's what's his name? Michael Douglas. He gets a gift from his young brother Sean Penn, and that's The Game, and it's a lot of fun, you know. Oh, hey Trini. Um, oh, and hey Eric. And sorry I didn't say hi right before. So yeah, so um, this has some good special features on it. Behind the scenes stuff, film the storyboard comparisons, alternate endings, um, trailer and teaser. Um, oh, and there's like I think on this one and on Fight Club you see like some of the crew, like this guy. His last name is Haug, Haug, Kevin Todd Haug, but he did some of the work on this, and he did some of the work on Fight Club. He might be on Seven. I don't know if he's on Seven. Maybe he's on Zodiac. So we're coming into the home stretch here. After I show these, I think I'm gonna show my Lord of the Rings, and then I'll end it. I was gonna stop in an hour. I'm getting close to finishing, so I'm just gonna keep on rolling because I'm almost done here. So this is Zodiac, David Fincher. A friend of mine says this has a lot of. This is a really good edition of one of a really good. I don't know. DVD or Blu-ray. You know, it's got I think it's got 4 commentaries. I think it's 4, or is it? Yeah, I think it's 4. It's got an exhaustive behind-the-scenes documentary, the visual effects, pre-visualization. It's also got some nice documentaries about the Zodiac Killer. You know, not related to the filmmaking, but you know, the actual history of the killer. You know, maybe this guy Arthur Lee Allen possibly, maybe definitely being the Zodiac Killer. So this is a really good movie. David Fincher doesn't like to repeat himself. So with Seven, you know, he had made a serial killer film, so he approached this one in a different manner than he did Seven. So he could, but each of those films is, you know, masterpieces. Let's see, where do we go now? Okay, so now we got Criterion. It's Thin Red Line. Really good movie. Really good use of. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Eric. Yeah, I saw your video on how you picked up the Alien box set. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that. Yeah. Thin Red Line. There are a few Criterions where they give you instructions, like Terrence Malick, I think, says on this one, turn the volume all the way up on your television. David Lynch, before he released Eraserhead on Criterion, and then when he did release Criterion on I mean, when he did release Eraserhead on Criterion, he tells the viewer, adjust your film TV set this way and turn the lights off. So there's like specific instructions on how to watch it, you know. I'm trying to remember John Tull is the cinematographer on this. Yeah. So, and of course, like a friend of mine was saying, like some people were some major actors were just shut out of this movie. Well, he shoots like I think Malick shoots tons and tons of footage, so these major actors were taken out of the film. But that's part of the nature of the beast. That's part of the nature of how you make a movies. Sometimes you have to throw some stuff on the cutting room floor, even if you want to include it. It's just you have to pare it down. You have to kill your darlings, like Hemingway said. So um, let's see. But I don't think I've watched all of this. I used to have this on video cassette. So um, let me see. What do I do? I've got 4 movies left, and then I'll show my Lord of the Rings, and then I think I'll finish it. Where do I go next? Okay, this is Kubrick, The Killing. A lot of my favorite films of all time are by Kubrick because he had like Final Cut, all the money he wanted, all the time he wanted. He's very thorough. He usually made the best of each genre of film that he made. Most of them made a lot of money. A few, like Barry Lyndon, didn't, but still a great movie. But anyways, this was one of his earlier films. Maybe it's like his second. Well, technically, Fear and Desire was his first feature. He's sort of embarrassed about that movie. He sort of wants people to forget that. And then he made Killer's Kiss, which comes with this, which is technically his first feature. And then he made The Killing, which is this, and it stars Sterling Hayden, and it's about a robbery at I think it's a racetrack. It's a good film. I don't know how to place this if it's one of my favorite Kubricks, but it's a really good movie. So and it is an interview with the producer James B. Harris, who was a partner. He was like they had a production company for a while. They did Paths of Glory and they did Lolita, and then James B. Harris wanted to go out on his own. So Kubrick. Oh wait, they did Strangelove together too. I think. When I think they did Strangelove together, but when he did 2001, then they went to separate ways, I believe. So okay, so let's see, where do we go next? Mean Streets. This is in my Scorsese box set. This is a really good movie. Like a really good moral about what Harvey Keitel's upper not mob guy says to him, honorable men go with honorable men. And Harvey Keitel's friend Johnny Boy, played by Robert De Niro, is it's Blood, Fear, and Desire. Yeah, I've like a bootleg copy of Fear and Desire. I haven't watched it though. But anyways, Mean Streets. Johnny Boy, played by Robert De Niro. It's one of his earlier performances. He's just a cocky young kid, and he wants to make his own mark. And he's just like the mafia character, the upper mafia characters don't like the fact that Harvey Keitel has a relationship with a girl that has a what do you call that? Seizures. It's a really good movie. I was hoping somebody would be here by now that I'm going to show a movie he really loves, and maybe he's here, but he can always watch us later. That's Goodfellas. This is a great movie. My personal favorite is Scorsese. My personal favorite is Taxi Driver. Raging Bull's a close second, and then I like Last Temptation of Christ. I don't know. This is just a really good movie. Some people think this film is better than The Godfather. I like The Godfather more than Goodfellas. I'm not sure, but I like Goodfellas a lot too. The ending part of the film with the editing and the all the music at the end, that's really fantastic, And Joe Pesci won an Oscar for this, playing this pathological crazy mafia guy. What's the name of his character in the film? Tommy, I think. But and he does the famous. Everybody knows this movie. You think I'm funny? Funny how? Like a clown? Do I amuse you? That stuff. So, and then before I show the Lord of the Rings, this is Gangs of New York, which my mother thought, I collected when she was alive. She thought I collected too many movies. She saw this in the theater. She didn't know she'd like this because she thought it'd be too violent. And she's from upstate New York, and she really found this. I think she read a book about the gangs of New York, the history, and all this stuff on the disc. They have a History Channel documentary about the 5 points and all this stuff. They show there's a great feature on this where they show the sets. They shot at Cinecittà in Rome, Italy, where Fellini shot a lot of his movies. I think Cinecittà is pretty narrowed down. They've taken. I don't know if all the space of Cinecittà is there anymore, but they shot it there. They rebuilt New York in the 1800s, and they had this they had a special feature where at certain times during the special feature they show Dante Ferretti, who's the production designer, and Scorsese walking along the sets outside in Cinecittà, and you can do it like a 360 of the sets, which is really cool. So, all right, so now I'm going to get the box sets of Lord of the Rings. Maybe I should show something too. Let me see. I'm at 1 hour 7 minutes. I don't know if Jace is watching, so, but Jace might watch later on. So I'll show the Bond ones too. Because originally I wasn't going to show the Bond ones, but I thought maybe that'll just take a second to show. These are some of my earlier DVDs I bought a long time ago. These are like some of the first ones I've ever had. You can buy. They released when they first released Fellowship of the Ring, and now let me just say, people say these are like not all people, but some people say, some people say that like some critics, maybe lesser critics, think these are some of the greatest films ever made. I don't agree with that, but they're very entertaining. So they released the theatrical edition first, and maybe close to the next year when the next one was coming out, they released these, which are extended editions. So they don't really have deleted scenes, just extended, and it has loads and loads of behind the scenes stuff. So if you want to see a movie, if you want movies where they tell you everything about how they did a movie, every single aspect, like, shooting on the set, how they shot in the studio, how they did the special effects, the catering, the practical, even to the just insignificant things like practical jokes played on other actors. That minute. These are the ones you might consider buying. King Kong is very good too, like Peter Jackson. If you get the King Kong extended deluxe edition, maybe it's called deluxe edition or extended edition. So this shows you like just how in detail, and they show you pictures like of every different way they were gonna envision people like Gollum and the orcs and all that, you know. So and there's some nice art on it, some Easter eggs too in each of them. So, but yeah, it's just the same thing for the other two as well, Two Towers and Return of the King. I I've done a few times. I've done it where I've just watched these back to back, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, the commentaries are fantastic. And I went to the movie theater around the time the first Hobbit was released. Just before it was released, they showed these back to back in a marathon. It was like a 12-hour, something like that, a 12-hour marathon. So you got there at noon or 11 a.m. and you stayed at the theater until like midnight. And they showed these films. I had to take a bathroom break at one time because it's just the only time you could, you know, go to the get food or go to the bathroom was, you know, before each movie started. So, but yeah. So, anyways, okay. So now I'm gonna finish off. I know I'm a little past an hour here, but I'm almost done. And let me see. I'm just gonna maybe I'll just show the opening of one of these. These are James Bond box sets. I don't think they're like Jace's because Jace has one box set that includes every single Bond. I have one Daniel Craig. I have Quantum of Solace, which maybe I think is the best Daniel Craig, which I'm probably in the minority for. It's not coming out right. Showing these, but you know, Goldfinger, Doctor No. What's this one? Diamonds Are Forever, I think. Yeah, Diamonds Are Forever, Man of the Golden Gun, The World Is Not Enough, you know. So these are all the Roger Moore, the Sean Connery, the two Timothy Dalton, and the four Pierce Brosnan, you know. So there's 20 of those and 5 in each box set. And they have, you know, so they have a nice menu design too. Like one of my favorite Bonds, Goldfinger. There's they have nice commentaries. There's some nice behind the scenes stuff. With the Roger Moore ones, oh yeah, George Lazenby. I forgot all about him. Yeah. Oh, you watch the Hobbits. I have the Hobbits. I have the extended edition just because I like to. Maybe I enjoy them, but I just love all that behind the scenes stuff he does, and I find that like is it the Desolation of Smog? That those scenes with Smog I really find really entertaining. But anyways, going back to Bond, when you talk when Roger Moore enters the picture, he does commentaries for each of his movies, and he says, "I'm not doing a commentary. This is a conversation. Although you're not talking to me, I'm talking, but let's just approach it as a conversation." And he says, I don't really remember these films. I can't remember what I did, and I'll just say stuff and talk about stuff, and maybe I'll talk about stuff that wasn't related to this film, but we'll have a conversation. That's what he says basically on his commentary. So, and so yeah, you get the feature, and then you get the special features, and they also come with these. Let me see. Yeah, these booklets. I'm just going to show the inside of this box. I think you get the picture. So, you get this booklet stuff. So I enjoy these. I don't know if I like. Yeah, I mean, I like Goldfinger, On a Majesty's Secret Service, and Spy Love Me is the best Bond films. But even the worst Bond films have some interesting action scenes in it, or they have a great starting or something. Like For Your Eyes Only, I don't know if I really love all of it, but the starting, I really love the starting of that movie. So, all right, I think that does it. Thanks everybody for watching. Wolf, Trini, uh, Dave Bowman, uh, Eric. Let's see who else is here. Um, Martin Penwald. Uh, yeah, so I think I got everybody. So thank you for watching. And and another thing, I have guitars. I do garage band. I put a lot of garage band stuff up on my YouTube channel. I showed my Fender Squire Bullet Stratocaster a while back. I did a video on that. I think I'm gonna show my Epiphone Les Paul special. I did put it up on YouTube, my Epiphone, but I thought I put it on private. I wanted to show it to one person, and I can't. And it shows. I think it shows like I have 15 views on it. I can't figure that out. But I think I'll show that. I'll have a show my iPhone. Take a picture of the. I showed pictures before of my what do you call it? My MacBook Pro with the GarageBand program on it. But I think I'll show some footage. Play the guitar, and you'll see the graph as the guitar is being played, and I'll show you show you the amp and how it works with the amp, and maybe I'll make that a stream, or maybe I'll make it a video. I'm not quite sure on that. I think we're gonna have to get a tripod for the iPhone, so it's because it'll be just easier to move things around, or just shoot at a certain angle or something. It'll make it quite. I think it'll make it a lot easier if I have like a small tripod, or maybe a larger tripod. I think all I need is a small one for the GarageBand stuff. And I've also considered, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I've done a whole bunch of GarageBand songs now. Like the Fender ones that I did, I've done like over 3 hours worth of songs. And I thought maybe I should do like a best hits kind of a thing, and put maybe like my best songs in like one video, and maybe make a few videos with best songs. I don't know if that sounds indulgent, but maybe I'm just trying to kick stuff around, try to keep things going. So, anyways, so I'll be back for other things. Like if I pick up some movies, I'll show those, and I don't know. I haven't done poetry in a while. Poetry, but so all right. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go now. I'll see you later. Goodbye.